Today's July 16th. It's a little past 9 o'clock, and right now it's 10 o'clock exactly. And I just woke up. I just woke up from a dream I was in, and I was working with somebody on a project, and working on it. I wanted to, I can't remember. I wanted to get a photograph or some kind of visual image into a work. I don't remember what it was we were working on, and I said, well, look, and after working down, deducing the problem down to like something manageable and workable and something we could produce, I said, well, look, I used to use Microsoft Word in the past and stuff like that, and I'm just gonna get the application again. I said, and we can do it in that. We can make it work. And I don't know why I was thinking about it. And as I was waking up, I started thinking, well, I actually own it. I bought it when I bought my laptop a few years back. Or however long was it? A year, 2 years ago? Something, I don't know. Seems like a couple years ago. Anyway, I bought the new Microsoft Office suite with it, and it was back in the day. I mean, I used to use it. I could use PowerPoint. I could use Excel, and for numbers and stuff. And Excel is different, and you have blocks and everything already pre-made. PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, a couple other ones, like 5 in there or something. And as I was waking up, I was getting closer and closer to my own reality. In my dream, I was a little bit more distant from this reality, And then as I was waking up, I was getting closer to, like, my dream was merging into my present, like, reality, as I was applying the stuff that I know. Anyway, and then as I was coming to, I began like feeling like I was at the Wailing Wall, my hunger pains, and because this is now, well, I'll have to look. I don't know if it's day 9 or day 10 of my fast. I'm not eating. And my body was screaming out as if I were at the Wailing Wall. Feed me. like banging at the bars in the jailhouse dungeon. The guard comes by, feed me, feed me. Anyway, it reminded me of a song, and because yesterday I got some stuff out off a shelf. I had stuff up there on the top, Loose Records, Loose Records, and I seen a Mary John Wilkin record up there, and she has a song where she sings "At the Wall I Did Cry," the Wailing Wall, you know, the Jewish Wailing Wall, and so that was me when I woke up. I was at the Wailing Wall, my body wanting to eat. But I'm just drinking water. Like I'm not like really in a dungeon or anything. My body feels like it's in a dungeon, I guess. It's funny. Yeah, when my hunger pains get really severe, you know, I drink more water. I mean, I feel like literally when I was getting up, I felt like I was dying. Like it's like really weird, you know. It's like I know I'm not dying or nothing, you know. But my body is crying out like as if I'm dying. Please help us. Please help me, you know. That's my body. It's just we're separate from me. But anyway, so I came across a lot of stuff as I was pulling stuff down, and I did find 2 of my Bibles. That's my new International Version Bible. I used to like to read Ecclesiastes in this Bible. That's me. When I was in high school, and I found this picture. This is my son and my daughter, Adam and Amber. That's they were somewhere together. I don't know. I had this picture in there, and that's my New American Standard Bible. And this is my this is the Bible I got when I went to undergraduate school in Lakeland, Florida. And here's a picture of on one side my daughter and my son, on the other side Dawson and Chase, their cousins. And in this this is the way when I used to I got, you see how you see how I got them black, yellow, orange, and I got really small writing. What I used to do, see, when I would study Proverbs, for example, I can't actually even read my writing because it's so small. I can't believe I used to be able to write that small and actually read it. But what I did is I highlighted different sections, different words, like you know, in different colors. And so I guess so like black, on black, if I underline something in black, that's for wicked ways and deeds. If something is yellow, that's a basis and source of godliness. Even with glasses, it's too small for me to read what I wrote. I gotta use a magnifying glass. And then orange is the way, titled and shown in other verses. Well, whatever. But that's orange. And then that's the way. And then red is the benefits of the way. Okay? So like see, like in this chapter 2, like chapter 2 of Proverbs, for example. Okay, my son, if you will receive my sayings, and I have receive underlined in orange, my sayings underlined in yellow, and treasure my commandments within you, treasure is underlined in orange, my commandments within you is yellow, make your ear attentive to wisdom, and make your ear is in orange, wisdom is yellow, incline your heart, underlined in orange, to understanding, yellow. If you cry for discernment, lift your voice for understanding. If you seek her as silver and seek for her as for a hidden treasure, then you will discern the fear of the Lord. So you know what? I didn't go through all that. But then you will discern the fear of the Lord. Okay? Okay? Discern the fear of the Lord. As in red. Red is the benefits of the way. I went through the whole book. I mean, every verse, everything that I was, and I got all kinds of little stuff written. Then you will discern the fear of the Lord. And, reminds me of the sword in my great grandfather was a Knights Templar. I did that little talk where I showed the legend of Butt Cheek Holiday, and by the saying that goes with the sword, by oath and fear. Okay. Like, I can't exactly remember how it all goes, but I use the word fear. And a lot of times, fear is not considered like a good thing today. Like, people don't want people to be afraid or something. But, there's something in the Bible called the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord, Isn't that a concept that you have to let run deep? The fear of the Lord. You don't have to be afraid of God, but there's a certain thing called the fear of the Lord. It has to do with respect and awe. Anyway, I'm not prepared to go into all that because I didn't really think about it. I didn't really think about any of this stuff, but I did. So I found those two Bibles. I haven't found the Bible my mom gave me yet. In that Bible, I underlined everything that I liked in red, because that's what my mom did. She underlined everything in her Bible she liked in red. She had a ruler and a fine red pen and everything, and I did the same thing. And look, I'm just pulling out some stuff. I got all these loose papers, were in there, along with a bunch of the records I took down. I'm just gonna read you this one here. It was just the beginning. See, of course, all this stuff is dirty and everything, but look, I wrote this to Tom Collins guy at the Psychiatric Alliance of the Blue Ridge. I had to go through a lot of stuff, man. But I didn't read the whole thing, but I read the top line here. Look, I'm just gonna let you know, man. This is real life. All right, this is written in Friday, December 28th. Well, I don't know what year it was. I don't know what it says in here. Yeah, I guess I didn't write the date on here. That's not the way the Navy taught me to do it. But anyway, look, I'm just going to read you this. Dear Mr. Collins, Friday, December 28th, I picked up my son, Isaac Wheeler, up from the Amoco gas station, about 5 minutes from your office. He seemed in a normal, good mood. I reached to the back seat and touched his leg and said excitedly, "Hey, boy." He said, "I'm not a boy." I responded playfully, "Well, then what are you, a man or a mouse?" I've said that a lot when play wrestling with him. He said, "I'm my mother's son, and I'm not your son." See, but that just gives you an idea, you know, the kind of stuff I was against, struggling in my life against adversity. And I wanted never nothing more than to have a good relationship with my son. He said, "I'm not your son. I'm my mother's son." Well, anyway, I won't go into all that, but you know, it was what it was, and things didn't stay there. I mean, you know, yeah, life moves on. I got all these records and everything. I cleaned these ones up. I cleaned this many up. Well, I kind of wiped them off and everything. And these David Ingalls records here, when I came back from living in Indiana, I got moved. My mom said I had to stay at my dad's house when I was living in Wisconsin. Then while I was living at my dad's house for that, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years, I don't remember what it was. But she moved to Florida. And then when things came to a crisis between me and my father, and I went back to live with my mom, she had received in the mail something from a guy's name is David Ingalls. He was a singer, had a group and everything, you know. And it was when she heard that song, God spoke to her, and she had faith that I would be all right, you know. That I would come back to the Lord, I guess, so to speak. And you know, because man, I shot dope by the time I was 16 years old. I mean, you know. And look, there was other things. There was other things I come across. Like this. This is an old. The healing of the paralytic, Matthew 9, verses 2 through 8. This is a paper, I guess, I did for Dr. Jack Kingsbury. He's a scholar, you know, and he's my Greek teacher. Or, yeah, I think, well, anyway, he was my exegesis teacher. I had to translate for him, and this, I think, was like maybe my final paper or something. you know, because what we had to do is we had to take a section out of the New Testament and translate it, you know, from the original, and including, you know, like the different texts. As I had a book, you know, in his class, it tells what every part of the verse of the scripture, of the text, you know, what had a number on it, and told what what original text that it came from, because, you know, we were taught to consider primary sources. And so you have like different texts, like from different parchments, and some are dated earlier than others. Some are considered more accurate. So, you know, the scribes, you know, make errors. And anyway, there's a lot of things that you have to consider, you know. And it's all underneath the covers of the Bible that you read, you know. You know, Masoretic text is actually the only one that I can actually really remember. And then I got a quarterly evaluation. This is a note on here. The girl is helping me get stuff organized and everything. And this is a quarterly evaluation, December 1995. This is when I was in the UVA clinical pastoral education program as a resident, you know, working with patients as a patient family counselor or a chaplain. And I say in here, in the bottom paragraph, I just read a little bit of it, you know, yesterday. You know, I talked about my educational program. My first goal was to encourage a better relationship for myself with my peers. I wanted to be more appreciated for my positive characteristics and feel less perceived as a group member who is hard to know and difficult to interact with. I realized that I did not start out that way. I began focusing on my relationships with group members personally and in supervision. I asserted what I wanted rationally during PPI and outside PPI. I don't remember what PPI means. Periodically, I checked with group members to see how I was relating with them and how I was being perceived. At the end of this quarter, I believe I have a better, stronger relationship with group members. I feel happy about this. And then my second goal was to investigate the potential, the appropriateness, and the ways in which computers could be used in clinical pastoral education. I initially wanted to create something, a prototype, for example. I did my homework by attending a workshop on using PC-based multimedia in education. I followed that up with a personal interview with Joan Jackson, educational designer for the medical center, probably. Yeah, medical center. And I'm not gonna read the rest of it. Well, oh yeah, well, John introduced me to resources and funds available to do this work. He gave me full support and volunteered his own time to help me create an interactive multimedia PC-based program designed for chaplains. Now I am in the process of creating the program storyboard. I worked back in 1995. I was creating a storyboard for a program. And then this thing right here. Let me read this here. These are in you know, picture frames that got busted out. Glass got busted or something. You know, glass in it no more. Punched out and everything. But you know, look. This is I wrote this, you know, for my grandparents. And so it was after I was already in the seminary. I already graduated the seminary. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was the seminary. I was visiting my father. I don't remember what the occasion was, but I went to a Presbyterian seminary, and in the Presbyterian church, they utilize liturgy, like people will repeat what the like in the service. This is like different from the Pentecostal tradition. You don't do this in Pentecostal stuff, but in Presbyterian it's more high liturgy, what you call it. And so the preacher or whoever is leading it, will say something, and then the congregation will say something. Okay, and so that's what this is. I read what's not highlighted, and then the congregation reads what is in bold. Okay, and we remember, and I call this we remember. We remember the greater, the wiser, the kinder, the smarter,